Separation. Talks of separation. Why are the First Nations people not talking about separation? We should be the only ones talking about separation. Separating from a past, a people, a country, and just saying, hey, we want to heal. Nothing else. Heal. We want to heal from the past that unfortunately was given to us when you met us, when you tried to change us and make us become you. You call it colonization, you call it education, we call it genocide. I want to separate from Canada. It's going to be our new thought, their First Nation. That's going to be our new drum. I've been working very hard to create something for the grandmothers, to create the Grandmothers Council, to create something for I Don't Know More. I created this for I Don't Know More, Green Feather Foundation. This movement is what it's going to be. It's going to be part 2 of I Don't Know More. I'm going to say, Sylvia McAdam, I made this for you and the grandmothers. It says I was instructed. Like when I worked at FSIN, my boss was interim chief Kimberly Jonathan. And then she gave me a task. She says, create an event called Strength of a Woman. I said, yes, ma'am. She says, have it done in 3 weeks. I said, yes, ma'am. I did. Made history. Vice chief, first chief, Kim Jonathan, and then interim chief, Kim Jonathan. We made history together. And I'm gonna call on you again and says, leader. It says, I created something for the grandmothers. I wanted to impress you. Really, that's what it is. And I've been working really hard to create something for the grandmothers because I want to create something called the Grandmothers Council. I want to assemble the grandmothers from Treaty 1 to Treaty 11, and I want you to help me do it. I created the parameters that we can do it ourselves. No begging to the government, no asking the government, asking nobody, but doing it ourselves. greenfeatherfoundation.com. Go visit my website if you dare. I'm going to ask the grandmothers. I'll just let you know what's coming and what I plan to do because I want to share with you my life, what I've been doing in my vision quest. October 17, 2017, my life changed. I went and seen the future and I went and walked our road as First Nations and understood where we come from. So now it is my path to tell you, First Nation, we are the 12 tribes of Israel. I'm going to prove it to you without a doubt. I'm going to put on my lawyer coat and I'm just going to be like, hear ye, hear ye. We are the 12 tribes and this is how it is. And you, the First Nations, are going to be like, he's speaking the truth. Yes. You're going to see that it is the truth. Like a lawyer, I'll say, judge, you see, it is truth. And you people will judge me for my actions. And all I want to do is show you that I am your leader. I want to be that leader because of what I learned. Nothing else. My past, my education is useful. Very. But what I learned on my path and my vision quest, my friend, as a rite of passage for a First Nations man. And I want to show you how to go on your vision quest. It says, you want to see? They'll be like, yes. I say, let's dump. I said, this is a private talk. You do not talk about that in public matters. For separation. Alberta, thank you for paving the path, for showing us how to do it. You call it a referendum. What you do is you get a bunch of people to work together and says, we have 300,000 people. Is that how many people you got there, Alberta? Bet you I can get more. Right now we have 1 million First Nations registered Treaty Indians in Canada. I says, bet you I can get 100%. I says, you sign for your children if they're under the age of 13. That's the age we're going to have, 13. And if they're 13, then it says, then come vote. Come defect from Canada and help us create a new thought, a new place where we can heal. I want to teach you what I learned about the healing circle, not the sentencing circle. I performed the sentencing circle in a court of law, a judge, lawyers. I was the elder. Now I want to show the grandmothers what I learned I says, but we have something called the healing circle kokom for you. The healing circle. I says, you're healing the people. You're not judging them. I says, you're healing them. And the healing is because of what happened in residential school. What they were taught in those schools. What were they taught in those schools there, First Nation? They were taught how to hurt each other. They were taught some skills, life skills. Thank you. But unfortunately, most of the skills were taught how to hurt each other. They were not taught how to be parents, how to be a dad, how to be a mom. They were taught how to hurt their children, how to hurt each other. And unfortunately, a lot of that shame and all of that pain, alcohol was their best friend. It helps you forget for a while, at least for a while. But if you can stay drunk, and then maybe you can forget forever. That is the reality of our communities, my friends. And all I want to do is I want to say, I learned something. Come to my camp. I want to show you how to heal a person. Give me 1 week. I'll have these people healed of their addiction. People said, oh, you're going to make the world change in 7 days? Yes. Grandmothers, I says, while I'm teaching the homeless people their addiction, understanding the spirit world, and says, look, by the end of it, they'll be like, I want to go home. I want my children. Or I'm a healer. I says, go home and heal them. You're going to see something called the third pull. A prophet, William Branham, a Métis fella, died in 1965, and he says, the third pull, you'll see a big tent, you'll see healings. He says, you'll not understand how. He says, but they'll be there. We're going to fulfill that, friends, for the ones who love the church, the ones who love God, the ones who love each other. Everything I do out of love. Love for mankind, love for womankind, love for us, love for each other of all colors. I say, Astam. We have the only treaty card in the world that gives us the right to create a country. A placeholder that says when the First Nations people of Canada get their shit together, we're getting our act together, friends. But it has to be the people to do it. We cannot rely on our government. We cannot rely on FSIN. We cannot rely on your chief because they already bought. They have lots of money. They have no desire to do anything differently than what they're doing. But the homeless people, my friends, are where I'm going to go. Says, let's work together. I went and lived as a homeless person for how many years? 7+ years to understand what it feels like. But I needed to understand if I'm going to create a country, it says, how am I going to build a country, an industry? So I went and understood flax, linen. That would be our plant. That would be the one that will sit on our flag, our purple flag. Purple? Yes. Our flag will be purple. It will show the color of pride. Our position that we will be First Nation. When you put a crown on our King David and says, we are the 12 tribes of Israel. Yes, we are. And I'll be sitting there and says, well done. Well done. The time of us living on the streets, my friends, are no more. I'm going to take you off the streets, homeless person. Guaranteed. I'm taking you off the streets. That is my mandate. You're going to come live in some reserve and you're going to build our industry, our country. Now someone's thinking like, well, if you're going to have a country, where are you going to claim land? We're going to claim Saskatchewan. It's like our Noah's Ark, our safety. A place where it says, run to Saskatchewan, safety. We're creating a new country, the First Nations people of Canada. I says, and if you want to join, join. I says, we will not say no to no one. It is a new time, my friends. And we as First Nations people, it's time for us to understand who we are. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create nationalism before you can create sovereignty. You have to like ourselves. We don't understand who we are. We think we're drunks. We think we're savages. You don't understand who you are. And you will soon. And you'll look up and be like, I come from the tribe of, like, yes. He's like, wow. You have an identity. You have a past. And without a past, we cannot look to the future because we see ourselves as nothings. By not realizing that we are royalty. You are the 12 tribes, my friend, and I'm going to prove that to you without a doubt. Royalty. crown of 12